believe. What is going on? I hope we are live. Hope the audio is working for us. Sorry about the bright light. It'll be lit up here in just a second. Just remember, if you guys come to the live, you guys are more welcome to ask questions. Anything under the sun. Oh, there we go. I'll wake you up. And I'm just getting stuff put together here. Just wanted to let you know I'm alive. I really appreciate all the kind words and everything. Thank you for the concerns. Luckily, everything's good. It's just a matter of just been busy. So I kind of started off with, I thought, so I put recession because I just want to know from you guys what's going on. Don't forget, give it a thumbs up too, please. Just helps bring more people like-minded. There's all kinds of work to be had here, but I still don't feel like things are as good as what they should be about this time of year. And I'd like to know how it's going on your guys then, because I know the demographics can all change, which is good. And I hope it is super duper busy in your area and you're swamped and you're charging 1.2 mil per service call. But I'd just like to know. I'd like to know what's kind of going on out there. We can always kick it off with that and kind of go from there. Like I said, I'll check the old agendas, see. Stuff's staying pretty busy, but it's not like super swamped like it should be. I think, unfortunately, the tariffs. The scary word. I don't know. And I'd like to know how you guys feel about them too. How you feel on the old tariffs. What do you think? Good, bad, indifferent, ugly, all that good stuff. I don't think I need the old headlamp anymore for the moment while we get stuff set up. I hope everybody's doing great. We'll get the party going. Like I said, ask questions. If don't be shy. I like getting fired up on the old questions, seeing how things are going. Oh, Rich is on here. He says still slow. Yeah, I was gonna shoot you a text, Rich. I was gonna ask. I kind of figured it was probably about the same. It seems like your neck of the woods is very similar to my neck of the woods, and it's just not. We kind of had that kickoff. We had just a touch, a brief of a oof, you know what I mean? For like a day. It felt like a day or two of the tax season. But I think a lot of people are using that money to pay off some debt. They're using it for, putting food on the table because it's expensive out there, right? And if you're cruising through, don't forget to please hit the like button. It just helps wake up the algos, brings more people in. YouTube likes that kind of stuff to wake up the algorithm, so I always appreciate it. It says give God time, says hello. That's right. You should. Hello, and hope you're doing good. I'm just getting things set up here, so I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just checking out the schedule too while I get my drink prepped. It's been a minute since I've been through the bag. Hope everybody's doing good. Appreciate it. Oh, I got some love. All right, man. I need some love, especially in today's world, huh? Oh, this is not the chord I wanted. Maybe we'll see if we can make it work, though. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hitting the like button, too, especially to wake it up. C says, hi. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. Hope, Rich, you got anything? You've been, anything in the pipeline? Anything for garage door openers, garage door? Like I said, it's been, any prediction, any reason, any thoughts on why you think it's kind of slow? You like the hat? This is a cheapo. I think this is one of those hats. You can probably see in the back. It used to have a light in it. I think I got this one from my dad, I think. And the light broke. It popped out, did whatever. So Tony's in the house. What's up, Mr. Tony? Let me check out the schedule real quick here. It's on a Tuesday. We're on the 15th. All right, so we're into the next week, aren't we? Yes, we are. They had this week pretty full. There's quite a bit of stuff on there. Little stuff, though. Gate stock, quote, new gate operator. Oh, that's where the gate operator was going. Oh, yeah, that one's a nightmare. Lots of wires. 15. Why is there something on? Oh, there's something on a. Maybe we're doing something on a Sunday, like Uncle Dave used to do. I used to have to do things. Everything had to be done after hours or on weekends. During the day was just to stomp out fires. That was the scenario. That's for sure. What's you got? What's up, Uncle Dave? I'm headed home. Just got done with the job. Oh, man. Were you doing a live? I didn't get to see it. Like I said, man, I apologize. My phone doesn't notify me of anything. And I don't know if I like it or don't like it. It's like really quiet on the phone. It's the hotline. Hey, we got 10 likes. Thank you guys so much for hitting the like button too. I like the hat. Yes, like I said, we mentioned that, didn't we? Yes, we did. Is it Sigma? Is it Alan? Alan? That's pretty cool. Is it Jency? Am I saying that right? It says hi with 2 eyes. Love it. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're having a good weekend or good day or good morning, good night. Let me know too where you guys are at. Let me know what country, state, province, all that good stuff. Do you start? Was this the ABBA song? Oh, you might want to hear me sing. It says yes. All right. Tampa. Ooh, Florida. Is that nice and warm? I need some Florida people, man. I need some warmth in my life. I need a charger is what I really need right at the moment. You know how they do like this on the cube, right? Everything should just, they do the little one, and then you got this one. Doesn't work. Does not work. What else do we got in the goodie bag that'll make something work? Normally I carry a little power pack, but I've been bleeding off that thing lately. This little guy comes in really handy. Let's see if she's got any juice. Otherwise we'll jump over to the other. It's got some, so we're looking good. We'll see how long it goes. We need to hook up. That's right. So Tony says, dang, look at, like I said, we got 10 likes right off the get-go. Bam. Tony, what's it been like in your neck of the woods? Has it been just been slammed? I know you said I think it's slowed down just for a little bit. It looks like the schedule. Let's take a look for. There's a gentleman that has a day off next week, which is nice. Ooh, next week it looks like a secretary has got a week off, which is nice. Oh man, there's all kinds of vacations. Must be what is this? April? Is it school? Is it spring break? Is that why 1st of April? Cal. Oh man, there's one that one's a little bit of a far job. That's a long. I can't say it's a long distance loser. I don't know the numbers on it. Let me go back to the old March. Let's see here. Next residential. There's a service. Yeah, I just don't see. Yeah, I just don't see it. A lot of spooked. I don't know if I haven't been watching the media too much, so I don't know if any of the tariffs have actually taken effect. It's like, it is a little weird to me that Mr. T does we're going to do it. And then it's like the day or 2 days prior, and then it's like, we're not going to do it. It's weird. Tony says we were slow this week. Got a couple on the books for next week. Yeah, normally it seems like when we kind of get this warmer weather, man, we normally, what I've noticed in the past couple years is it will actually, when the weather pops, and like I said, it might take a little bit of time, but I think everything's just been, my opinion, I think everything's been spanked so bad the past years that it's just spanked to death. I don't know how to explain it. So if anything is going to move momentum, it's going to take a while. And that's why I think it might be a year and a half, maybe 2 before even things start turning around. I don't know. You know what I mean? And then everything I kind of keep watching, I just keep seeing, all I see is all I keep thinking as I go, the price of stuff is going to go up. That's all I know. The price is going up. For good, bad, or indifferent, or in between, it's just the price is going up for you and for me. I even had a couple of family members, they finally bought some chickens. They must have been so sick of paying for eggs. Maybe they just don't have them either. I don't know. Rusty's in the house. What's up, Rusty? Glad you're here. What's the economy like been over there? Been slammed, can't keep up. What's going on in the world? Any problems? You guys have any problems with openers lately? I got a Genie, residential Genie that keeps. I've noticed there's nothing moving unless there's a mouse. The motion thing, it just clicks on randomly. A light keeps clicking on. Not real often, not real common, but got Genie residential. I think it's a screwdriver. I don't remember the model, maybe a 40, 30, 65, something like that. But yeah, the light just clicks on and it's like, why is the light on? Let's go down here. I live in Fort Myers, but I'm in Tampa right now. We do. What's up? I'm in Tampa for 1 week. Oh, just a week. Gotcha. I want to enjoy it. Need more broken springs? Well, we gotta have if we were lucky enough and we could buy them through the Amazon and they were cheaper, right? We could just start installing those cheaper Amazon springs, and they'd break more often, and we get more work. I had another gentleman reach out to me, and he was kind of strong arming me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm joking, but he was saying something about beating the springs over, and he goes, do you beat them, put a little bit of expansion in your springs, your garage door springs, as you wind them, after you're done winding them. And I came back to Papa Tony, and I was thinking about it, and I kind of was thinking, I sure as hell would not beat on my Sure-Winder or my spring turner. And I kept thinking, no, I don't. I never have. I've never seen a problem. He goes, well, it'll make noise. I agree. I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. I mean, I don't think there's really nothing wrong, but unless you whack it hard enough and you break that cone. But I've noticed my biggest thing is you got to spray them. You got to spray them with some oil. But I always still think about it, even if you put expansion in there, I still think, it's in my mind, how I've always explained it was like a coat hanger for customers, right? And I always tell them, every time you open up your garage door, just think of it as a metal coat hanger, and you know how it is. If you keep opening, back and forth, metal fatigue, it breaks, right? And so I just really was kind of like, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think it's a gift. I don't think you absolutely have to. I really don't. I don't even know if it's in the training or it's in books anywhere. Let me know. What do you think? Need more broken springs. He says, not slow here. He says 10 doors in the next 3 weeks to install as soon as they arrive, almost 2 weeks behind. Woo-hoo-hoo. Hey, that's a good problem. Like I said, there's some builders. I think he was saying he's not going to be ready till May, which seems pretty slow for him, for that building, for whatever they were doing. So we're going to sit on some more doors. But it is what it is. But it's funny because you can look at next week and you're like, ooh, it looks pretty light. Last week was the same, right? And they filled it up. I guess we just get a lot of that little service call stuff that comes in, but try to stay close. Tony Scott, he says, definitely the price went up. He says, I'm riding right there, just under Rusty. Oh, talking about for the price of what charging? Bye, I have to leave. See you later. Gen C, take care. Oh, yeah. Hey, we got 11 likes, too. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. Just helps bring some more like-minded people in, more conversation, more good stuff. Genies are junk. I'm changing a board out Monday, brand new opener. Wonder what kind. It's really weird. I never knew those Genies. There was difference between, the gray head and the black head. And, when we were installing for Lowe's, we had quite a bit of problems. I mean, we would install them. I remember one was our fault. We smashed the trolley, which seemed stupid. The trolley has no way to stop, as far as I know. I guess they put that block. Sometimes they used to put a block in there, a plastic block. But anyways, it smashed into the head. We broke the board. And then we used to get a lot of like red light of death is what we used to call it. Like it would just like sometimes we're almost right out of the box. It would just like it would light up red or blink red. I can't quite remember. And we call it the red light of death. Can't do nothing, can't reset. You call tech support, they're like, yeah, it needs a circuit board, blah, blah, blah. Okay. A lot of problems. And then they went away. We were dealing with genies for quite a while. I had a pretty good luck with them for quite a while. And then the RPM sensor is what kind of tip cap over the edge on them. Because everyone, darn near whole skid of them was, you know, you pretty much had to go back to 75% of them and change out the RPM sensors. But they were so nice to give us a whole bunch of them, but it's still the point, right? You know, like the chargeback and, you know, I never heard anybody come on here and email me or message me and say, Dave, you're doing it wrong. You should be doing a chargeback to those vendors. And you know what? Every time I do it, I get $500 a piece. And I'm like, all right, cool. How do you do it? You know, and send me the link or show me how you do it. Show me the video. And I'm game, you know what I mean? Because that's the biggest thing, right? You can send me all the parts. That's the biggest thing in the garage door industry is that, you know, you can send me parts until we're both blue in the face, but it's the truck, it's the gas, it's the wear and tear, it's going the time to go out there and the loss of revenue, right? And the customer's upset and the customer doesn't understand. And you're sitting there, you're juggling all these different, you know, products or issues or scenarios. It's not fun chasing them sometimes, that's for sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if Genie, you know, it's like they I mean, it's almost like they're all linked together. I don't even understand it. I just don't even understand it at all. It's like the car manufacturers and the garage door manufacturers. It's like I don't understand how we can. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. I don't even know how the hell we're at where we're at, right? We got all this beautiful technology, all these years of information, all these great engineers. Well, not all, but we had a lot of them. And we can't just leave something alone and say, you know what, there is a little bit of a problem, let's make it. But it comes down to that whole thing. We know how this goes, right? That you need to buy more. We only want it to last 5 years, not 10 years. You know, and it's just, you know what gets me kind of gets me irked a little bit is the fact that when you think about it, right, they shove this crap down us about being green. You know, we're trying to save the planet. You know, we want less waste. We want less stuff in the landfill. Then build the damn stuff to last. You know, think about old fridges that, you know, your grandparents had that went through 3 generations and they still kept running. And you only somebody got rid of it because, you know, they just didn't like the way it looked. You know, it's getting old looking, but it still worked. You know, it's just amazing to me. You know, well, think about how many times all this other stuff goes into scrap, or some people throw it in their garbage or chop it up, or it can't be good. It can't be good. Evan's in the house. What's up? Says up, boys. I like it. Evan, I was talking to him about he might be working with a little bit of a Home Depot at that point. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to be stepping on toes here. But hey, man, I'm proud. I'm proud of you. You do what you got to do, boo. That's how I look at it, man. Whatever you get service, and it's tough nowadays to find good service. Absolutely horrendous sometimes. Up, Evan. Is it Sawyer? What's up? He says hi with 2 eyes. I like the 2 eyes. Tony's Garage Door. Let's see here. He says, I do know if your door won't go all the way to the floor, it's because you need to stretch the spring out. Oh. That makes sense. I feel like in my brain, I've never had, I don't know. I guess I've never had that problem. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, I think about it, I go, every time I've always wound a garage door, for the most part, right, it's always all the way to the ground. So there's no reason, you know, unless you were like, you had it on blocks or something and you're winding. I mean, I get the concept. I mean, Tony brings up a good point. I can see because I know I have fought something with that, and I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but I've had it where like, it's like when you start doing it for so many years, everything's like a noise, a sound. Like I always kind of joke sometimes with certain people, hey, we got 14 likes. Thank you guys for hitting the like button, by the way, too. But it's like kind of like when you're doing a garage door spring too, right? You can just kind of feel like you're like, because sometimes they give you wrong numbers or something's off or they gave the wrong tag or you're guessing or estimating or whatever, and you're winding, and you're like, I'm not winding a spring anymore. I'm bending metal. Like it's just something don't like, I got to stop. And garage doors the same way, you know, where you can feel, and it's like you can almost, I always like to get the door bouncing, and I can kind of feel, I can hear it, I can feel it, I can feel it, you know, like when you hear that clunk, 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 feel the door, like you start learning which way it's jerking, like it's something in this corner, it's something over here, it's in the track, it's something, it's got to be. There's a lot of little mysteries. It's amazing. You think garage doors are really simple, but they're not. There's a lot of little things to them. Plus, I always, like I said, big things, oil on them. That's why I really think we need to do more preventative maintenance. I really do. I think it should be residential, commercial. Customers just need to understand, hey, it's just like your car. You know, you just don't run it forever and never change oil. You got to take it in somewhere, and they got to check tire pressure, and they got to check to make sure the upper and lower ball joints aren't ready to fall off, and change the oil, and service the transmission. And garage doors need it too. You know, a lot of people neglect them. I'm one of them too. Dave, we always stretch after whiny, says it prevents them from popping. Lets the oil down inside better and no side effects. Hey, you know, and that's hey, like I said, you know, I mean, I can't say I haven't ever done it back in the past, but now, you know, I guess one thing that makes me wonder, right, is like when I go to customers, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this as well, and you know, right, you know that sound, right? I know it instantly. Even when I watch people's videos, you know, somebody doing something, and I can hear a kunk kunk kunk, and I'm like, that's the spring popping. You know, and I've seen them bad enough where if the spring pad isn't really mounted good, it'll blow the spring pad off because I mean it's just like an impact, right? Kunk 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 kunk, you know, doing its thing. And it's amazing. I've seen it before too, right? Where it's like you spray oil on it, and you can actually see the spring relax, and then as you run it, it goes away. You know, so like I said, you know, I don't think there's really no right or wrong. I just I know if I was using a Surewinder or a spring turner or some sort of device too, it's not, I'm not going to beat on that device. And so one thing was brought up was saying something too about, you know, and it'd be great if somebody did a study on this, right? I seen there was a guy that was messaging me that Clopay was actually, so it'd be cool if somebody come out with a video, or Clopay or somebody, the engineers that actually have them on the machines where they're testing it, they'll rotate them and then they'll rotate them back to see if the spring will actually, you know, you get 5% or you get 10% more life out of it. To me, it was like, well, it's a give or take, right? Because in a nutshell, if the spring doesn't last as long, well, that's good for me. That's good business, right? It's good for you. Maybe I give you business. You know what I mean? Because I've just never seen it where it's been enough where I see a common trend where I go, man, my springs that I install never make it over 6 years. It just all depends on how much the customer uses the door. It's good stuff, though. Good stuff. Good stuff to get the brain thinking. Plus, it'd be like me going to like residential or commercial. And I'm pretty sure most people don't do this, but I couldn't imagine like looking at a spring. I can't even tell. I couldn't tell if I beat on a spring or not. Now I've had some springs, right, they start doing something like you have a gnarly spot on the shaft and it'll start compressing it. It'll do something funny. Or if you put the spring on backwards, you know, like you see it start doing that weird buck. It's getting the waves to it, and you're like, something's not right. I'd done that when I was a greenhorn. But you know, I never gone to residential or anything and looked at it and went, I can tell that spring's not spread apart. I need to whack it. You know, I'm gonna go up there and loosen that, or those, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't think there's really right or wrong. Door won't go all the way, prevents. If you don't spread springs and they aren't lubed, I have seen where coils rub too much, create enough friction to trigger force and reverse the door. That's interesting. That's interesting. That is interesting. A junk genie, that's what kind? He says, a junk genie. Yeah, you know me. You know me. I'm always looking for the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry basket, you know, because I don't, and what's kind of crummy about a lot of this stuff is like, for me, it always started with my stepdad. And I've said this before, we had that old lawn boy, right? And that old lawn boy has been at my mom's house, right? And, my parents were separated. So, I turned into the man of the house, so I had to take care of a lot of stuff at a very young age. And, that lawn boy just smoked like the Dickens, but it kept on ticking, just ran and ran and ran. And when my stepdad started coming around, the lawn boy is pretty worn out. And you know what? It's time let's upgrade the lawnmower. So we did, right? And he thought, I'm going to go with another lawn boy. I would agree. I mean, this thing is, I don't know how old it was, 20 some years. I mean, just worked like a champ. He bought that other one brand new, bought it from Walmart. And at least I believe. And that thing was a pile of poo-poo. And come to find out later on, as he was taking it in to get service and trying to get it to run right, and instead of being it was a 2-stroke, it was a 4-stroke. Never could get the darn thing to run right. Nobody worked on it right. And come to find out, they sold the company. So I've had some of you guys send me that LiftMaster has been bought out too, certain times. And I wonder if that's where things are kind of starting to like Andy. I don't know. I'm sure some of you have seen Andy's video. You should definitely check him out. He's showing that commercial, the Maximum, whatever. And, man, that little DC motor. I mean, that thing is ugly. It is just an ugly garage door opener trolley. Just pure ugly. I mean, I just was like, it looks like a big stinking hunking box. I thought, who made this? Who engineered this thing? I thought, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But I digress. Rusty's guys said I was giving a price today on roofing and French door, framing, opening, and installing a 6x6 by 7. Do you guys have the customer do that or quote it into the job? Removing French door. I don't know. I've kind of learned over the years, at least in this place right here. That place, Affordable Door and Gate. That place. This place. We don't do, so what I've ran into is we've ran into problems with, at least for us, and everybody's situation is different, right? They got buddies and friends and they got 5 builders under them and all that kind of stuff, which is great. Unfortunately, Affordable really don't. It's like you can get them and then they kind of fall off. And then it's like, you send somebody or you give them a quote and the numbers are off, where it's like, for me, it was always, I just want to install the door, you know what I mean? And I'm not looking to throw work some way or another way. I've tried that. And sometimes it falls back on me, you know what I mean? Like they want me to haul they're like, can you grab the header, or do you got screws? On certain builders. And then sometimes the price gets out, then it's like, was my price out of whack for them to not take my job, because the builder is busy right now and his numbers are really high, where I'd rather the customer, for me, is always like, you just find somebody, you know what I mean? But I think you can get more of the jobs. I think if you take care of it, I do believe that. And if you got the time, for us, it's like, I've ran into like, long story short is, I don't want to deal with phone calls. I don't want somebody calling me and go, hey, do you know what that thing, Dave, did you take pictures? Dude, I sent you the job. Go up there and look at it, measure it, do whatever you got to do, frame it out the way it needs to be framed. But then there's always this weird like, well, you're almost like you're almost married to them, right? Because by the time they're tearing it out, they want that door installed right away. So then it's like, well, hey, I can do it this day, and you're like, well, that really doesn't work for my day. Well, if you give me a hand, then it gets complicated. So normally I'm always like, I just kind of always say nope. Like we used to do a lot of stuff. Like we'd sub out like electrical and stuff like that to certain things. It normally just doesn't work out. You know what I mean? And then they're coming to you asking questions, and you're just sitting there kind of cross-eyed, like, this ain't me, dude. Like, you need to talk to the customer. Well, I know, but you got to approve it, or you're going to pay me a little bit more, or this and that. And it's like, I get it, but not. And then I got to have the customer. I don't know. That's just how it is. Tanner's in the house. Tanner, I was just thinking about you. It's like, man, I need to start getting the boots, man. Supposedly you're really digging those cowboy boots. I can't find boots that don't wear the back out of them. I don't know if maybe my boots are too loose, but I got a pair of boots right now. They're just Justin boots, nothing fancy, right? The back got so worn out in them in a sense that they lock. It's like a Chinese finger trap. So I go to take my boot off. I cannot get my boot off. I even had one of the kids grab it, and I'm like, yank my boot off. I literally I had to get one of those, I don't have one. I got a chunk of wood, almost like a paint stick. I had to stick a paint stick down the back of it so the fabric would let go, so it'd get my boot off. So I need to start upgrading to some boots. If you think about it, send me a text, send me a picture or something. Those, I'll take a gander. Oh, EVs from Ukraine. Wow, welcome. I could ask you a million questions. No hate here. Nothing but love. I hope things are good. Man, you guys got a mess over there. Let's see here. Rusty, we do it either way. We can do it or give them a few numbers of contractors, buddies, so they can do it normally. He says we're too busy to do that part, so it's nice just to show up and do the door part. That's what I kind of think. I says I usually put $2,500 on it, and they do themselves to find someone. Have ready for me. Have it ready. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. Yeah. I'm kind of with Tanner. Same thing. It's kind of like, hey, we got some people maybe we recommend. Right now, I'd say we don't. Cap might. I don't think of anybody right off the top of my head. And it depends on the job, the scope of the work. Is it red steel? Is it a metal building? Is it, concrete? Is it wood, like a barn house? So there's, that's where, you're always trying to fit the right person. And then you might have somebody that's like, yeah, they could do it, but they're not, you don't know their schedule and stuff. And then it's like, the last thing I want for myself, the way I look at it, is I don't want a customer to come to me and go, that guy you recommended? Yeah. Well, he smelled like BO, and he was peeing in cups. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I wouldn't recommend, you know what I mean? I don't, that's not me. You know what I mean? Like, they're not, if it's their customer or their contractor, I'd just be like, they can tell me about them and be like, oh yeah, I guess I whenever, Weather station. Is it Lance? Sent you via our new Starlink system. Ooh. Well, keep her going, Lance. Batman. I like it. It says he's got any installers Virginia Beach that are trustworthy. Ooh, I don't know about that. Don't know about that. If anybody's on here, throw it up for them. Chase. I never ever stretch my springs. I oil them. Sure though, he says no issues here. He says 6 years going on. He says I do go back every once in a while for my customers for tune-ups and door balance service. Ooh, I kind of like how you put that. Yeah, and I think that's a good point. That's why I kind of think sometimes we need to start making sure that we're, what we need to do is preventative. So, here's what kind of crosses my mind, right? What I think we should all start doing is that even for residential, we should start doing preventative maintenance packages, because there's just so many things you can prevent, right? When you go to a garage, and at least once a year, especially residential or something. I think it'd be a good thing to, you checking out the cables, the bottom's getting rusty because every customer is different, especially up here in the colder climates. You get people that spread that salt like wildfire. They're sprinkling on the siding and on light fixtures, and they're just wailing it everywhere, and that'll corrode a door really fast. Oil goes a long ways for those rollers and hinges and springs and the bearings, so that never hurts. So there's just so many benefits to it that if you can get it, and if you could just do it for something that tell them, say, hey, or even you're calling them and saying, hey, we're going to put you on the schedule, call them up, say, hey, you're at a year for your tune-up. It's going to be whatever. If you want it for $29.99 to get in the door, $65, you want $400, whatever. And you start doing something like that. And that's nice. A lot of times there's a lot of existing money with existing customers, right? After you already got their emails, you can send out an email blast and say, hey, we're doing a spring tune-up, we're doing a summer tune-up, we're doing a fall tune-up. There's just so many things we can do to help our customers out. Beach. I think I said that. Rusty says, Dave, Clopay recommends stretching springs after winding. Nice. I wonder how you would. I always wonder about like the ones that we just did with duplex on them. Chase says, what's the guy? He says, I have tried stretching them, but I see the spring snake. He says, is what I call it. Yeah, the snake. I like that. Just gets wavy, behaves strange, and makes weird noises. Huh. Yeah. Tap or two, the winding bars. Yeah, I think, like I said, it's one of those things, it doesn't hurt to stretch them. I guess I don't know if anybody else has had this problem or not, but just in general, right? It feels like everything's getting really cheap. Even like Service Spring. Let's go for a look for here. I just want to take a look, see if I see them. Since we're talking about this is good stuff. Good stuff. Ooh, takes a minute for that light to turn on. Let's just take a look at these springs. Sometimes these springs, they got holes in them nowadays, right? Here's one. I can't believe it. Can you see that? You got a little smudge on you. Let me wipe your face like your mommy would do, right? Hold still, right? I'm gonna get this for you. Oh yeah, now y'all good. Y'all better now. Anywho, right there, right? You see that? That's a hole. That's a hole in the drill mark, right? And then you come over here. This one don't have a hole through it, but this one has a hole through it. See, it's like the drill went too far. That one's got a big hole in it. There's a hole right there. That one's got a hole. Anywho, what I'm getting at is that these cones have gotten cheaper over the years, in my opinion. And I've had it happen once to me. I remember once, and I forget how or why, but I had one that chipped out on me. And boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what, does your butt pucker when that you hear that snap of a cone? You guys know. If you've been there and it's happened to you, you know. So my thought process is that to even whack them, which you don't have to whack them hard, and it's never been when I've whacked them. It's been more like, I can't remember why it happened, but I've had them chip out. So I'm pretty gentle with cones nowadays, And I'm not trying to justify my way or anybody else's way to, I'm just saying that, I've still never seen a need for it in a sense. I've never had a problem. Not to say the manufacturer doesn't say it's not, but I also think about a lot of the mechanical stuff that we're using. I mean, if you think about it, right? Even which ones are the Clopes? Ideal from Menards. Those only come pre-stretched, so they got the plastic piece in them, right? So, just something to think about. Thanks, Rusty. Says makes sense. He says, like only with the door up since there's more gaps at that point. So that's kind of cool that Chase brought that up too, because actually it depends on if the door. We got 15 likes. Thank you guys too by hitting the like button. If you don't mind, hit the like button. Just helps wake up the algo. And but anyway, like the door, especially when you go do a what do you guys call? Put in the comments too. What do you guys call when you do a tear out? I always call it like a retro, but I feel like there's I always came up with the resis. We always call them resis for residential. But am I saying it wrong? Like I'm always thinking about like, is there a certain term for like if you're doing a tear out and it's not a new install? Is it a retro? Is that the right word term? Because sometimes I'll deal with guys. I'll be texting or something, and they're like, "Hey, I'm installing," and I'm like, "What do I charge?" And I'm like, well, that's a pretty loaded question. I can't really answer that. I'm like, are you taking a tear out? Is it a wood door? Is this a brand new construction? Is it dirt floors? Is it, is there approach? Do you got to park on the road and it's 2 miles in the woods? Is the house up on the dunes? All kinds of weird stuff. But anywho, I forget what I was saying. Talking about those springs. Sneak them. Oh, so when I go do a customer, let's say I change out a garage door opener. The springs, you can tell hasn't been maintenance in 5-10 years, whatever, right? So it needs some oil. It's rusty, whatever, blah, blah. So I normally I'll spray the front of it, I'll hit it. And then I'll also, to help get more penetration too, I do the same, when the garage door's up and there's enough room in between the header and the door, I'll spray up in there too. That way it's nicely, really coated good. Chase, I have stretched them for 25 years because how Dad taught me. He says, I have fixed them when guys don't. He says, just recently, he said, brought it up at Clopay Distributor Center, and they agreed. Kevin says, I would say most get away without stretching because when they wind, they have a tendency to push out on winding bar, not realizing they are spreading it. Yeah, I don't know. The spring is shrinking, right? That's why it's expanding. I've had it where it's bound up on the bar before. You can especially like a solid bar on a commercial door or something, you can really feel it's binding up and doing something. But, if there's, I just can't even think about I just can't even think, out of the 18 plus years, out of looking at all different installers too. And I've even some of my installers that no longer work here that were pretty bad installers. And, the guys across the whole half of the state that I've seen jobs, I can't ever think of where I've ever came across, a situation where it was like, I think the only one I remember that fooled me one time it was for a Chinese lady. And, I could not figure out for the life of me, it was a residential, it was like a 16x7 door. I could not figure out for the life of me when the door would go up. How did that work? When the door would go up, it would it would lose the cable tension. And that blew my mind. I was like, what is going on here? And I forget if it was in the spring or I really think it was in the bearings. The bearing was so bad, but it wasn't like clunky bad. It was just jammed up that even though it was spring tension, because I'd be looking at the spring and I'm like, the spring still got like 2 turns on it. I'm like, why? How in the heck is the cable slacking on both sides? You know, or it'd slack more on one side even. And it was like the cable would come off. It was my second or third time going out there with the cable falling off. And I remember I finally like grabbed the shaft and I was like, what is that binding? I was like, something's binding. And that was with the door up. And that's when I figured out it was a bearing. I believe it was a bearing. I don't think it was a spring. So why would the spring bind up that way? But I have seen it where, you know, if you do like the door halfway up, I've had people do weird things like with screwdrivers. I remember one guy, he wanted me to do something, I don't remember, and I knew he didn't know what he was doing. He bought the door from us, and anyways, he was taking it just down the road, and one of the workers came back. There was like 6 or 8 guys to install one garage door. It just a Suburban full of guys. And I remember the guy come back, and he's like, the door only goes up like this much. I'm like, what do you mean the door? And he goes, it only goes up like this much, like a quarter way. And this is a brand new door, not insulated, 16x7 door. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. So I go down there, take a look at it, straight down the road. I get there and the guy's like, first thing I look at the spring and they got the lines on it. I go, you ain't got enough turns on that spring. Oh, he goes, I just figured you just wind it up and it's good to go. He goes, here. And he hands me a big Phillips screwdriver. And I'm like, oh, hell. I said, you can't wind that thing up the way it's supposed to. I said, with a Phillips screwdriver and a flathead, I said, you got to have winding bars. Oh, well, you know, I didn't know. So some crazy stuff. See, Tanner sent me some. Send me those boots too, Tanner. I want some boot pictures or good make and models. Was Anderson's as mean as my go-to. They're really nice. They are pricey, around $300 to $500. He says, but I really like them. Double H. Let me snapshot this here. Maybe while I'm laying in bed tonight, you can take a little look or something. They got some. Yeah, I just really like around. I don't care. Like I said, price really don't really bother me when it comes to boots. I just like good boots. And my boot selection has gone dwindling down. Really like them. Oh, Tanner's got something. Double H soles. He says they are about $250. Maybe, can't remember. I had those. So for about 6 years. Spend the money. Good boots, and they will last. Good boots. Was this thorough good boots are good? Oh, better take a screenshot of that too. Check them out. I'm game, man. I normally can't. My boots won't last over a year. I've had, you know, even when I worked at the shops, you know, guys would always, you know, oh, these boots I've had for 3 years, you know, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, I try them out, something like that. They'd be all raggedy or, you know, they're pretty super compressed inside. I mean, it didn't really help the situation. We were dealing with that, like, coolant. I don't know how to explain it. Off the mill, and it was nasty, you know, so you know, it was pretty bad conditions. But nowadays I don't beat my boots up as bad as I used to, but I do get in those occasional situations where I'm doing concrete and all that good stuff, and I like slip-on boots for that kind of stuff. I'm doing dirt work, and then I like certain grippy boots for all kinds of stuff. If I'm getting on scissor lifts, ladders, roofs, all that kind of stuff. Rusty says, what's he got on here? Rusty, they're good. Rusty's got good point, Kevin. What's it say? Thorogood are nice, but it's overrated. Front work boots are the same thing, half the price. Break in Festa. Rusty's guide. My preferred footwear are Columbia light hiking boots. Ooh, that's nice too. Sometimes got 3 pairs. I rotate. It's not a bad. Not a bad idea on that either. It is kind of funny. I've noticed. With myself, at least, with more age, I do like a lighter pair of shoes because I used to wear, like, you know, I was like, you know, I'm going to war and I'm not coming back for 2 years, so I'd be steel toe, heavy leather, I mean, insulated, whatever it took, you know what I mean? Big soles, for when you're climbing the ladders, they hook in, but I think it started with this guy, Cole, that I seen he was doing, he'd be wearing a lot of tennis shoes. And I was like, man, and he always, he just worked on his own. He did fencing and stuff like that. And I found, I like these ones with Reebok. I think they're Reebok. They're steel toe, but they're light and they breathe. So that's really nice. But anyways, he taught me on, I always seen him wearing tennis shoes. And I kept thinking, it is kind of nice wearing, some lighter shoes on when you can on certain occasions. But there's certain times you don't want your feet getting pinched on stuff either. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Footwear, just ordered a lace-up pair of Georgia Eagle light work boots. I've had pretty good luck with Georgia boots. My spring and fall boots, super light and very nice. Looking for, they're only 150 or less. Ooh, huh? They are. That's pretty cool. I've always liked Georgia boots. Normally, the thing with Georgia boots was, I always like they had the big hooks, for putting the boots on. I hate spending time putting shoes on. As weird as that sounds. And it's always like they get you, right? Because when you, when I had the Georgia boots, I was like, I'd keep the boxes so I could find those. So like I'd get them normally from like Family Farm and Home or Tractor Supply. And then I thought, well, I always got the box. I kept the box. So I had the model. I had all the information. So if I ever wanted it, especially a boot I find I like, well, then the Tractor Supply or whoever, they quit carrying them. And so then it was like, oh, so now I got to order them offline. Well, then it's like I wait too long to order them offline, and I'm in a Tractor Supply or somewhere or Cabela's or wherever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try those on. I'm gonna try those different, whatever those brands are, Justin Boots, something. Try them on, and it's like, ooh. It's probably because I wore my other shoes out, boots or whatever. And it's like, man, that feels nice. Like I can live with that. I'm gonna try these, and I try those, and like the Justin Boots. The Justin Boots were okay. They're just. They don't, and then now they're locked up on me. So now I when I use them, I'm like sitting there going, okay, what am I doing? I have to kick them off, or I'm not going to a customer's house, or because I won't be able to get my boots off unless I got one of those shoe horns. Let's see here. 50 good spring and fall boots or summer if it's not too hot. Rusty's guy says duplex springs usually have the spacer in there to stretch them. I don't know. I think of the plastic, I know, to keep them from drooping, but I don't know about the duplex how exactly those quite work. So does the Easy Set springs. That's what Rich B's got. So you get yourself some Easy Sets and they're all set. They're already stretched. Oh, like good stuff. Rusty's got, Rich, you have so much torque you need those plastic loops on the end to hold them on. Oh, that's right. That's right. You guys were recommending that. I never had a problem with them too much, but I put them on that last job I did. I made sure I put them back on there, but it's really weird. They come in it's like I get one side to always lock in, the next size, got the pictures. I see them, Tanner. I'll check them out later. Says, yeah. Says, in the winter, it's so cold, they can't handle the power and brake. Yeah, another thing too is like with those, I was just thinking, squirrel. Anyways, those Georgia boots, they got a mud one too. I like that for the weird spring / fall when it gets to be mud season. Because it gets muddy around here, it gets muddier everywhere in Michigan. Rusty's got Rusty says, was it called an E? Is it? So I call it a tear out and hallway. Tear out and hallway. I don't know why I keep thinking of retro. I don't know if I came up with that or somebody told me it's a retro. You know what I mean? I mean, I was just trying to think of something like our terminology around here is always resi. What are you doing today? You doing a resi? Or are you doing a commercial? You know? I was just trying to think we should come up with like a terminology, you know, like so this will be interesting, right? Let's see if a lot of people don't know this one. You guys probably do. You guys are. What is dunnage? What does dunnage mean? Dunnage. What do you use dunnage for? Does anybody know what dunnage is? Have a little fun. I've seen those holes in cones, holes before. Sometimes all the way through, just a pin and a hole. He says, yes, always stretch spring residential commercials, like Rusty said. Just taps, nothing crazy. Oh yeah, yep. Placement. Ooh, there you go. Rich has got something there. Is it a replacement? I like it. Replacement. It's just really weird. Like I said, I get a lot of people that ask me always. They're just like, you know, hey man, like, what do you charge? I'm like, dude, that is such a loaded question. I don't even have a clue. Like, what's your demographic? That's like me, like being like, okay, you know what to charge, and I'm like, what's a gallon of milk cost? Okay, how much is a gallon of gasoline? Okay, how much are your oil changes? Okay, how much they get you on tax? Okay, how much is your house payment? You know, what kind of car do you drive? You know, do you like the cheap toilet paper? Or you like the expensive toilet paper? What's up? Is it Shane? Was it Sean? I always say it wrong. I'm sorry. I seen your text, I think. I had one this week. Shaft had snapped and side spring where we couldn't see. Properly headed, head stretching. Oh, yeah. Head scratcher. I wonder if it was a coupler. I've seen those before. They bury them in. I've done one or two myself. Seen those. Rare. He says, or what happens too is they don't put that center. I've seen that before too, where they don't put a plastic center bearing in them. Eat it up over time. Shaw's rare. Says Rusty. Usually bearing worn out and cuts into center. Ooh, the center bracket. Right. Exactly. Ever after entertainment, he says recession for sure. It just doesn't feel right, does it? You know? I think it's going to keep chugging along like it always does. I don't think we have to hit the panic button yet, but it just doesn't feel like the spring of the spring of the spring like it should be. And I know we're not, I don't think we're officially in spring yet here, but we're getting close. Close enough. The weather's breaking. I've had that a few times last year. Best was when the contractor put door in and did not put the spring, center bearing, and it cut right through. And when I asked, he was like, oh yeah, I couldn't figure out that was for. Menards easy set shaft with center. It says screws bracket. Head fell off, so that's it. There's really threw me for a loop. The Menards to get ya. Entertainment. I was so slow this week with garage door repair. Yeah, it's I know it's different for everybody, you know, but Rich and Tony's been kind of up and down too, and still chugging along, but it's not gangbuster like, you know, and the thing is like, oh, I wanted to ask this. I don't want to forget. Have you guys noticed? You can just put a let's just put a like number 4 in the comments if you just want to make it simple, or you can comment and say, yeah, I've seen it, or this too. You know what I mean? I'd love to hear. But have you guys noticed in your areas that a lot of places are closed on Saturday now? And like for us, like we have a tire shop that used to be open. We had a truck accessory place that used to be open. I think the bars around here still don't even stay, like it's like to like 11 to midnight. Like they don't even stay open till 2 o'clock in the morning anymore. There's so many things. All our grocery stores, you know, we used to have, we had 2 of them at least. We had Walmart and we used to have Myers that would stay open 24 hours. They don't do that anymore. You know, what was it, last year when me and the wife, Tron, were out working late one night? We got done, you know, 9, 10 o'clock, whatever it was, shooting at 11, cruising down the road, you know. And I actually even drove past the old shop I used to work at. Doors are open, you know, presses are in there running, machines and fork trucks, you know what I mean? Big old buildings all running. And, you know, I was taking that moment to really appreciate where I've came from. And I thought, oh, I still even, you know, I love the freedom of this place. And I just thought, boy, I'm so thankful I don't have to work in that place anymore. But I remember getting out, and even my ex at the time, we used to go to like Taco Bell all the time. It was like, I don't know what time it was. It was all 11, 2 o'clock, sometimes 1 o'clock, maybe in the morning. And so we're cruising back, and I'm like, hey, let's grab something just to nibble on. And we couldn't find nothing. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, like I kind of felt bad. I felt bad for the next generation, our kids and stuff, that if they're like, you know, you ever out on a date or something, or you just, you know, I'm out working late, man. I want a little meal. So we had I think we ended up deciding, I think Arby's, we found one in another town that was open, but there was nothing. There was nothing. It was just, I was like, we can't even stop at the whatever. They're not open. I mean, we used to have a lot of little places that were, but anyways, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about you guys, and I watched a lot of businesses, in the certain areas, and I don't see gangbuster, you know, tire shops, repair shops. I just don't see it, you know, and so I try not to use just this place. I try to use all these other places too to try to grasp things, you know. Figured out what it was for, but ours easy says something threw me out. Ever after, how much are you spending on marketing? Sean, he says, I thought I was addicted to a job until I got on this. He says, really nice to have it vent. Sean, are you the owner? Yes, mate. Love it. Rusty says addiction will get worse. What is it Tanner says? Bog, he says, slip-on boots, and my go for slip-on water mud boots. Bog, I don't think I've ever heard of that one either. You guys got all kinds of boots I haven't heard of. Packaging for a load. Did I miss something? Somebody not having a good day. Richard, what's up, Richard? Hey guys, I have been selling new doors like crazy. People selling homes. Oh. That's interesting. I like that. That's good. People selling homes, huh? It is spring, right? And they do say that typically. Dang, we got up to 17 likes. Thank you guys. You're so gracious for hitting the like button. So spring is normally the busiest, right, for the homes, which I get because I know I don't sell homes like typically in the fall or the winter because I don't want to deal. And I got a heart. Who sent me a heart? I can't see who sent that, but I see the love. Spreading the love tonight, baby. And I apologize. Like I said, I wish I could do some more lives and stuff lately, and my videos have been all over, so I appreciate you guys bearing with me. And I know we've been working on that gate job and stuff like that, and I know some of you guys just could care less about that, but we're there. It's wrapped up, and it's life. It's what pays the bills. And I hope it's somebody out there that's ever entertaining it can appreciate it. But I've been crazy busy lately. You know, I've been really soaking up this warm weather. I've been trying to get some jobs done. I've been trying to get some rental stuff fixed up and done and out of my hair for the future here. Trying to get things set up good for summertime so I can help out around here if need be and all that good stuff. A lot of things, a lot of irons in the fire, unfortunately. Are you guys recycling your metal for broken springs or just tossing them in the trash? We actually have a recycle company that doesn't charge us anything, which is good because there was companies that were going to charge rentals on their dumpsters, and they'll give us money back. They take a little bit, obviously, but they'll give us money back on the springs, so we don't toss them in the trash. And that was all I was looking for at the time because we used to haul, and I mean, comment below if anybody's had it where, I'm making bank, but scrap metal used to be pretty decent. It used to back in the day kind of follow gas prices. I think it was like when gas prices were really high. I don't know why. Maybe somebody can comment about it, but it would be when gas prices were super high, $4, $5 a gallon. It was like steel price or scrap metal was way up. And used to make some decent money. I mean, a trailer load, sometimes we make, $200, $300, $400 a trailer load, and that was a good chunk of change. And then as the years went by, gas came back down and stuff. It stabilized. It seemed like scrap just still even kept kind of coming down, scrap metal. And it's just not worth it. I mean, by the time we'd go there, back up, the time to get in there, to go across the scale, back up and get a flat tire. A couple times I watched guys, even when I was working with them, and it's just an accident. It wasn't like intentional, but they'd be chucking something, right? And something catch like a cable. I don't know if anybody's experienced that. And all of a sudden something else goes flying with it and it goes right past your face. You're like, holy crap, man, you almost took off my eye or, my face or my nose, and they're like, I'm sorry. You do the same thing to them, right? And you start kind of realizing it's like you're sitting there going, man, this is consuming a lot of time. And for a measly, 100, $150, $200, this is kind of a bottleneck. Now if we didn't have nothing to do for the day, kind of like when COVID took effect, yeah, you know what I mean? It was like, $150 sounds pretty good when we haven't had nothing on the books for 3 days, that we're stuck, you know what I mean? So something's better than nothing, but in normal times it's like, is it worth it? But if you can find somebody too, like I said, they don't care how long we have it. They'll pick it up if you got a location for it. Otherwise, you could always dump it somewhere or whatever. People love that stuff. We get people all the time that on Marketplace, I got this. People come running for you. You'll always see people comment on there, where's it at? I'll come get it right now, But ever after, I'm curious, what do you do with yours? Do you trash it, leave it to the customers, recycle it, throw in the dumpster? What do you do with yours? Oh, here comes Kevin. Says, what does he got? Dunnage is used to keep product from sitting directly on surface to reduce chances of damage. Wing, wing, bing, bing, bing. He is the winner. Dave, when they asked what their overhead, he says a business needs to charge based on overhead. He says, and desired profit margins, not calling other business on the phone. That's right. That's right. That is true. That's why, like I said, when they call, especially when you're, That's such a loaded question. You know what I mean? And in business with me at least, it's always been like, for it all changes, right? It's like when we've been slammed, we're out, 2, 3, 4 months. I mean, it's like we can't take on anymore. There's just nothing we can do about it. It's like, sure, customer, like you want this, right? Like when the the co in the vid was going on, you could have charged anything, right? People just didn't care. They couldn't find the stuff, especially if you had the product. But it's like if you're chucking a truck and you haven't done nothing all month, it's like, well, I'm sure you'd like to, you'd like to do something, let's just say you're trying to put food on the table or something, or you live at home or whatever and stuff like that. I mean, $100 is $100, you know what I mean? So, and it's learning for depending on your situation, you know what I mean? But it's always like, that's why I'm always a big picture. So like if anybody's watching this, I'm like, that's why I'm always like, I don't know why. I really feel like I really don't get much feedback from anybody else. I'm typically I feel like I'm the only one in the country, honestly, that I'm always like, send me pictures. I've done it with my employees. They'll call me and I'm sitting there and they're like, I'm like, send me a picture. Just send me a picture. You send me a picture. It's just like right now. Bam! Dog. What kind of dog? Big dog? Small dog? Little dog? White dog? Brown dog? Black dog? Your dog that you're thinking in your head right now is different than the dog I'm thinking in my head right now. But if I hold up a picture right now of a dog and I go, oh, this is my dog, that's the one I'm thinking of. That's the one that you're going to see and you're going to know my dog. So I'm always a very picture. Just send me pictures. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I can pretty much probably tell by looking at something and I can smell it, right? Ooh, I can tell there's stuff. I can see a car in the background. I can see the back of the garage. I can see there's a rack up there. I can see the concrete's cracked. I can see it's crooked. I can see the header's sloped. I can already get a picture of what's going on. And even if they got to give me details, that's fine. But I got something now to visualize off and go, I've been in this situation. Holy crap. I've actually been to this house myself, So that's why I'm always like, I always joke sometimes, including myself, right? Because, I'm definitely, I'm not perfect by any means, but that's what I always say, like I always get funny. I'm always like, we got these smartphones, right? We got these smartphones, but we got dummies using them, including me. Yeah, like use the smartphone, like we're so blessed. I was literally thinking tonight about it. I just thought, can you imagine like the technology, especially the guys nowadays that are just starting out and stuff, you got it made to some degree. Now, of course, there's a lot of competition out there and stuff, but if you use it properly, right, that you can make really good decisions, a lot of money, you know what I mean? Tanner's guys is my dad. Has 5 scrap trailers as side gig. Ooh, he parks at businesses and was this kind of got him going. He wanted my scraps, so I told him get a trailer for my shop because I was not going to double handle it. Ooh, that's cool, man. That's a good idea. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea, especially for pops. It's kind of like we're kind of weird in my family. We don't we just don't deal with pop cans, right? It's just it's how do you say it? I learned this from a guy that's more successful than me, let's just say. And he said he told me one time, he just says, Dave, he says, I ain't got time for that. And I said, I kind of, so my mother, I love my mom. My mom actually takes them and she likes the extra money. It's a few dollars here and there. And she don't mind, you know what I mean? But I will poke myself in the eye. I do not like standing in the lines. I do not like dealing with machines. I do not like dealing at the register, even for $5-10, whatever. I'd rather go hang a garage door, deal with a broken spring or something, or I think I'd even rather be outside picking them up on the side of the road than being at the grocery store dealing with them. So that's cool. That's cool that the dad. I mean, that's not a bad deal, man. I'm trying to think. Like, that's was just thinking about, like, I was thinking about the tires, right? I was thinking whether Pops could do something, like Tanner's dad could do something with the tires, because I know there's places I always think about it, and I thought, if you had a good place to dispose tires, that's always a big problem, is just the tires. And if you could make some kind of business to some of these places, these shops, because we have a lot of shops around us that are kind of tire people, but they're not tire people. And I always wonder, I'm like, what could you do with them for their, like, tires, you know? Just something, I don't know. Charge them a few dollars. Trusty said, my dad takes the scrap in when he's bored or it's full. We all split the money. Yeah, I remember this one time we had our trailer, you know, it never fails, right? Because it's like you're filling the trailer up, and then it was like, we had a really long trailer that I used for many years to haul garage door panels and everything. Just a real skinny, only like 4 foot wide by like 20, it was 20 or 21 foot, something long. Used it for many years, worked out great. I remember we overloaded the tongue of it, and I remember I'm like, dude, we gotta go, like, we gotta do this. Now it's like, we have to do this, right? And we're super busy at the time. So we ended up, we pull on the road, and I remember all I hear is, boom, man. I felt the trailer drop off, then I'm like, I looked at the guy next to me, I'm like, what the hell just happened? And he's like, I don't know. And I look behind, and the trailer's on the ground. I'm like, oh. Luckily, I had a forklift at the time at my house. You know what I mean? So I ran up. The trailer's out on the road. All I think about was Johnny Law or an accident happened or something. So I get there, fork it, get it back at least in the yard. And now I got a broken trailer, you know. And a few times I've had a few flat tires. So for me, it was just, you know, like I said, it started turning into, and then especially, it always, like I said, this is kind of one of those things. I think things, how do you say, life changes when you have employees. Life changes, because I even had a guy that I don't know if he was trying to find a way to get kickbacks or something, or he just really enjoyed the drive or whatever. But I always remember he would be like begging, you know, like he'd be like, hey man, I see the scrap trailer's getting kind of full. And I'm like, yeah, it's like halfway full. Like, it's only half full. Yeah, but, you know, like, just take it back. And I, you know, and like, I'd make sure, to be fair and everything, I was always like, I'd make sure they give the receipt and stuff like that. So, but I mean, he would be so always on me about that darn thing that it was almost a huge distraction. It was to the point where I was like, dude, I need you to focus on your job, doing the garage door stuff, and do a damn good job. I don't need you worried about that scrap trailer. That's a byproduct, dude. That's like, we're slow this week, we're slow this day, whatever. We'll get to it. I don't care if the thing's heaping over and you're dumping the crap on the ground. That's a good thing. You know what I mean? But he would be on me about that thing. And then I ended up, it was weird because they were doing something. They were doing fishy stuff. They were actually taking the metal home. And so I went on a weekend by myself. I just said, trailer's full, I got to get rid of it, whatever. And there was 2 guys that used to work for me. Well, they were working for me, I think, at the time even. And it's funny how many of those doors had stickers of this place. And I was like, oh, where'd you guys get these doors? Would you consider that theft? You guys let me know. And so I just kind of let it, you know, they knew. No worry on it. He says on a clean bit shaft. He says where we couldn't see. Oh, gotcha. Couldn't see it where it was. Tanner. So we had 2 20-foot trailers at my shop that threw in all metal and takes it. And he says, I don't want my trucks going to scrapyard. Yeah, and I don't know the reason for Tanner. I mean, for us, it wasn't like, it wasn't for like advertising or our trucks being seen there in a sense. But I guess now I think of it, there was liability, right? There's stuff that could fall out, nuts or bolts and screws or nails or whatever, of the trailers, at least the ones that we were taking. And like I said, we go there, and it not every time, but if you went there one time out of 3 or 4 times, you got a flat tire, and or you got a nail or something, you know, and that was just an inconvenience. And then trying to coordinate with employees to make sure, they're not going to take care of it like theirs. You know what I mean? So they're just driving over stuff to get close they can get to whatever. And it gets jammed up at our scrap place. It's one of those things that it comes back down to that damn time. How much, like when you think about it sometimes, are you the bottleneck? You know what I mean? Like you know that if I don't know, I even know how to explain it. I just look at it and I go, let's just say you go, well, I got to have a clean truck. So let's just say you spend 4 hours out of the day cleaning your truck, right? You make sure the outside's waxed and polished every day. Well, could you be out making more money versus that? You know what I'm saying? Like that time of like your, and then when you have employees and you start looking at it and you're thinking, okay, I pay this one X amount of dollars, I pay this one this, and the truck going out there, and you're kind of looking at it and you're like, they're gonna come back. And then they're probably gonna grab lunch. They're gonna stop at the gas station. This, and this. I'm making $50, and then flat tire, and you're like, oh no, and you're like, a tire's $150, $200. You're like, oh my gosh. You're like, no. There's Sean says, we need Dave's doesn't even be able to show photos. That's right. It'd be cool if we could show photos on here. Rusty, hope my dad and your dad don't meet someday. They'll be the scrap kings. It says they will talk for hours. There you go. Oh, Rich has got on here. He says closed or shorter hours. Oh, is that what you're saying, Rich? Like I said, it wasn't. I just noticed a lot of places aren't open on Saturday. I was literally thinking like about certain, like, how you just think when you're in business, how you're always thinking about other business stuff. And I just thought, my goodness, like I should open up a tire shop. I was like, there's nobody that's local anymore that's open on a Saturday. I was like, you got maybe a discount or something that's a little bit of a hike away, but I don't know if it's a lack of. It could be all of it, right? It could be hard to find the workers. It could be maybe the demand's just not quite there. I just thought, that's kind of weird. Stuff like that's going on. Rusty says, everyone's working shorter hours, and I'm working more. Kevin's guy says, same, Rich. Yeah. Tanner's on there. Man, you guys are filling it up. That's awesome. I appreciate it. 20 likes too, by the way. Dang. God bless y'all. I missed my spire. I messed it up. Really? They will take, let's see, close. Everyone's working shorter hours. That's right. Same. Tanner's got, he says, thinking a few months, shit is going to hit the fan. He says, I'm thinking just off of, I am thinking just off of our quotes, taking to our contractors. It's going to be Goodyear. We quoted over 20 doors Friday and ordered a few. Let's hope, man. I got smashed on Wednesday. Now I'm going to sell on a Saturday. Yeah, let's just hope too. The bummer part sometimes too, like that can be a pain at these prices. At least I've ran into this, anyways. You can quote a lot of stuff, and if they don't take the quote right away, in a month or 2 or 3 or whatever, then they start hitting on them, and then the prices change, and then you got to go back and it's like, hey, that quote I gave you is no good. Especially if we start hitting where the money, the steel prices go wonky. I hope not. Sean, where are you located? He is in the UK, if I remember right. Let's see here. That's last week. Morgan. So last week picked up a ton. This last week picked up a ton. Slow Jan, February though. Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird how it kind of, Rusty says tax money. Could be. You know what I mean? It's weird when the tax money stuff hits different, I don't know what's going to be the catalyst. That's the problem. I just don't know. It's like weird. I got this like conspiracy theory in me where like I kind of go like these car dealerships and all that, like they just are loaded up on vehicles right around us. And I keep like wondering, I'm like, what's gonna be like that takes it over the top? You know what I mean? Like, are we gonna have something that I'm just not seeing that's gonna be like, oh my gosh, and we're gonna be like the 19 going on, you know, the cough syndrome, where all of a sudden they know something and they're like, you're gonna want these cars, you know, you're gonna be eating them up. Rich says, what's on your shirt? Holly carburetor? Yeah, this is LS Fest. Holly. When I went down to the festival. See, I don't hate Chevys. UK mate, where are you? Pennsylvania. Tanner. What's Tanner? Even two jobs we took from another local guy. He says, but it's better for the customer. He's terrible at doors. What brand of door opener do you install? I think he got Horman. He says, yeah, I'm Horman. Might be up for debate. Says, yeah, Tanner, we have a few other companies doing bad work, and it's catching up to them. I don't think we see too much of that around here. You know, everybody kind of holds their own a little bit for the most part. We do get one that occasionally that'll have some slip-ups, but it's pretty stable. Sean, I think Harmon, we get and what you get are totally different. Yours arrived on time. Yeah, I think our Horman is different than what Sean's are. They're in the UK. I think they're better quality for him. Used to do Horman back in the day. They are trash. Dave, I think they need to do a video on difference between us and your outdoors. Not a bad idea. I don't think we have a relationship anymore with the Horman. I don't know. I'm sure we could still get them. I think it was Denise. I think we dealt with her. She's a nice lady. You know, there was nothing that was like totally. Their stuff's just kind of. It's just different. It's just different. You know what I mean? Best around over here, May. He says there's some proper Eastern European shit. He says over there, over here. Oh, yes. Ooh, Morgan says, what does it says? I bet these tariffs raise scrap prices a lot. That's interesting. I never didn't think about that. Be kind of nice to see. 1,000 a day. Oh, what you got in there? He says 200 a ton now. Ooh, doggies, man. Starting to get me excited there, Mr. Rich. I might have to start becoming a scrapper. Let me see Scrapper Dave. Used to get a shredder price for sections and hot metal for springs, which was higher. Didn't even know that existed. Higher. Now scrap prices is all crap. That's plenty of maces, but they are not hurting me. That's good. Tony says he's got my my scrap is going to start funding my other channel. I love it. I love it. Other channel, he says, yeah, he says, I'm going to start another channel called Tonka Tony. I love it. I love it. Do Tony or Dave have scheduled live streams? I feel like I just find them when I find them. I like these super, this is valuable and not wanting to miss them. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I can't say for Tony, but unfortunately for myself, it's very hit and miss. My schedule is, it's all over the place. And especially right now, you just never know. You know what I mean? You just never know. One reason it was like, even tonight, I just looked at it and I went, tonight is actually my only night that I can actually technically stay up late, and I get to sleep in a little bit, and I was done. And so that's the only reason I was able, like, for tonight. Otherwise, during the week, I've just been so busy. I haven't had times to even really look at videos to do editing and stuff like that, because I just been, you guys know, you know how it goes. If you've been there, especially when you're in business, you know, and I'm not going to really describe, but, you know, in a nutshell, I run 6 different businesses. So, I mean, there's a lot. And when you got 3 kids, a wife, and an uncle that had to bring chickens into your life, life just gets more complicated. Oh man, there's a lot. It's all good. I'm very lucky. I'm super happy. But you know when your body's tired and stuff, and you just go, time out. I gotta conserve myself right now. I don't know if I've tried it before, but there's normally not enough people. You know, what I should do or try is you can post it, so it gives a couple hours or whatever, 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever you set it to, lets people know, hey, you're going to go on at a certain time. But most time I do it, there's normally not like people waiting or whatever, so I just don't even bother with it. But they eat the peanuts. He says, mainly do sales now. He says, fitting this week, my back is killing. Oh, yeah. Made so much of those last 2 service calls. You're going to retire. Thanks, Morgan. What does he say? Morgan and Tony Dave. Morgan, no, thank you. Seriously. I apologize too. I gotta apologize, Mr. Tony. Like I said, I've been missing some of his stuff, because I know, like I said, my phone, I gotta grab some water here. I haven't been, and I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, it can't be good when your phone tells you that you have, 2, 3, 4, 6 hours a week that, you have, whatever, in the video time on there. So that's dropped dramatically, but like I said, I used to get notified for everything, and I can't say it's good or bad, but it's nice. It's I kind of been reverting back more to just listen to music, either on Spotify or just local radio stations. It's been pretty nice. It kind of just reminds me back of my childhood. As weird as that sounds, but I just don't have, right now I've been so busy. I just don't have time. But it'll slow down eventually. Where's it at here? Where did I miss it? Mate, like that garage door training bloke, he says in the U.S. Oh yeah, I haven't seen. Has he been posting anything lately? I haven't seen our training guy lately. What's more? He says I've changed my company's online presence because of these chat groups. Ooh, that's good, man. That's good. I gotta start getting up. I gotta get up to speed. Figure out how to. Gotta do some resis. I'm trying to hit that more 5 mile famous, right? And as we, dissolve the bottom and expand the top, you know what I mean? Because there's some that are gonna fall off. I know it, or have, you know what I mean? And it's a good thing, because they just don't either want to pay the prices, or they are kind of a pain in the neck. That's what we do it for, trying to help out. That's right. Cheers to that. I gotta take my sleepy pill. Ooh, that'd be cool. I don't have a clue about YouTube, but that's next. Heck yeah, do it up, man. It's always good to see other stuff. I just pay people a fair price. Can't go wrong. I usually only want my presence to be 100% perfect, as let's say I can't make it and don't have time for all the editing. Yeah, YouTube is definitely, it's a very it depends on how you do it, right? If you're kind of just doing probably the lives and that, it's not so bad. But if you're trying to edit, like what was it, the last video I just did, that was all of probably an hour and a half worth of video, and I went through it at least 4 to 6 times. You go through it, you're deleting a lot of stuff that is just walking around, moving around, blah blah. You go through it again, you get to almost a damn near the final, you're like, it's good, but I better watch it one more time before I there's certain stages, if you upload, because now it's stuck in there and you have to go back into your editing stuff, and it's a real nightmare. So you go to watch it one more time, you go, crap, there's something still in here that's not supposed to be. You do that, and then when you listen to it, you go, I want to add something to that. So it's a 15-minute clip that somebody watches on my channel probably cost me anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Rusty says, I figured out the customer's definition of fair was free or break even. I like that. I agree. I did a service call for 50 other days, says, and adjusted photo eyes. Yeah, Morgan, I go more for the raw stuff. He says, if I hurt, you're gonna see. He says, do editing as you can tell. He says, I don't have time for editing. It is a lot. It is a lot. The editing is a lot. It's a ton. You know what I mean? It's a ton. Tanner says, I don't drink pop, but all my Busch Light cans I save, and one of my cans is full. He says, drop bag off. He says, local pet shelter. Didn't know about this. That's pretty cool. It's not a bad idea. I was chucking them. I was throwing them away. And my mom caught wind. And she kind of gave me the lickings. She's like, I can't believe you're doing that. I'm like, I don't have time for this. He was upset at the price. Oh man, for photo eye adjustment. Man, they do, man. They do. It's tough. That's why I don't forget. So Morgan, maybe you do this, maybe you don't. But that's why you go in there and do a preventative maintenance program, or what am I? No, you're gonna PM. Hey, I adjusted your photo eye. That was the problem. But I also went through and I oiled your door. And even if they're watching you, it's really weird, how customers like associate time with stuff. I mean, you go in there, right? It takes you 2 seconds. It's a photo eye. You know what I mean? Hey, you're all set, right? And they just like come unglued. What? That's all you did? Yeah. I mean, we live in the 21st century here. I mean, you got YouTube. I mean, you got Google. I mean, you could have Googled this yourself and figured this out, but you're sitting there drinking your coffee and you're talking on the phone and you're watching TV and whatever else you're doing. And you called me, because you couldn't fix it, and I got years of knowledge or, whatever. And, so whatever seems like it, for whatever reason, if you go through and tell them you oiled it and you put a sticker on it, I put a sticker on the door in case you ever have a problem, oiled the door. Hey, I haven't opened up your opener. I cleaned out the limits. I, did this. I adjusted your chain. I gave it a 10-point silly inspection. It's kind of like the oil changes, right? They do the same stuff, right? They don't check the air and they say they did, and they got dipstick switches, on here. They swipe the oil, you think you wanted Quaker State or Valvoline, and they put castor oil in there, Richard's got, what's up, Richard? He says, I do this and highly recommend to stay busy year-round and in front of customers. Set up call back for annual lube and tune-up for all your customers. And maybe their neighbor, if you ask them to check. That's not a good idea. That's a really good, solid advice right there. Thank you, Richard. I'd agree. Those customers don't deserve your knowledge. And if there is a callback, you lose money. Richard, how do you propose annual lube? It says, do you have, what is this? Pamphlet? I think it's just your information. Is first have wall decal with reminder of date. You set it up on your Google Calendar or House Call Pro or CRM. Yep, that's a good idea. That's some darn good stuff right there. I'd agree. You know what I mean? And this kind of goes back to the whole thing about preparation, right? Life is all about preparation. You get that information from that customer. That's why it's always like, for me, it's always been like, how hard it is to get that phone to ring, and you answer that phone, man. You hang on to that phone, and how you doing, customer? And so you got this right now. You got their job. You got money flowing. You got a check. You got a credit card, whatever. Now you take that information. You make sure you put it in your system. And now you're doing such great that you can email. You should be getting their email. You can email blast them. You can send something on a phone. Because you never know. The problem is you never know what next year is going to bring. You don't know if it's going to be tariffs. You don't know if there's going to be a car shortage. You don't know if there's going to be a fuel shortage. You don't know if you're going to be super busy, super unbusy. But now you got that in that system, right? That because you did the prep work and you can see it and you go, whoa, we're not busy, or we could still take on more, or it's just the right thing to do, or move them around, and you get with the customer. And there's a lot of times that we overlook. We're so worried about, we got to keep getting out there. No, there's customers that want to give you money. I'm one of them. You know what I mean? Somebody contacts me, hey, you're up for this. Hey, you're up for a furnace. Do it. I can't even I have nobody that's contacted me now. I haven't really searched that hard. I'm looking for somebody that would provide a service for the rentals. Like I want like them to go in, suck the units out, change out the filters monthly. You know what I mean? Just because furnaces cost a lot of money. ACs cost a lot of money. Just check the thing out, man, monthly. Make sure the filter's clean. Make sure there's no something sitting up against it shouldn't be. Make sure something not leaking, or it's the pump's not pumping and it's leaking on the floor. You know what I mean? But they don't. I've had 3 different ones, and none of them have come to me and been like, "Hey, we'd like to provide this. Do it. How much? $65. Do it." You know what I mean? Kevin says, I heard on the radio Friday, guy, he says, been getting bottles and cans from local bars. He's cashing 700 to 1,000 a week as his side hustle. Dang, good for him, man. We got a guy who walks around the area. He looks like one of my family members, Steve, and then he looks like Jesus, so we call him Stevis. And it's just something funny, me and my wife do. And anyways, we see him walk around all the time, and dude's always just hustling, right? Got big old long beard on him, got glasses on, sunglasses always. Sometimes he rides a bike. I think the bike breaks down, he don't fix it right. he's pretty much like semi-homeless, let's just say. And but he'll always be hustling, man. And I tell you what, I'm always like, I always just stare at him and I'm like, dude, that dude's got some hustle in him. I mean, like if you could settle him down to be like an employee with that hustle, I'm like, he'd be a damn good worker, man. But he's always working. He's always got 2 bags full of can, and he is all over the city, all over. I mean, not just I always see him on these. Hell no, you'll see him just. You'll be on some weird road and you'll be like, oh, there's Stevis, like. Uh, Good idea, Richard. I'm going to start doing that. He says, get them on a service plan. Dude, I'm telling you, that's what a lot of us, we all need to do it. We do. Because, that's what all these companies are doing to you and doing to me. Like they want you to get a subscription for your heated seats and your BMW, right? Well, you need to start thinking the same way as they are because they want that cash flow. You know what I mean? I've even thought about putting it as far as maybe not a garage door, but like an opener, put them on a plan. Put them on a plan where it's like, do you want to pay for this in full today? Or would you want to get onto this plan that's $10, $20 a month? And we'll incorporate this in here and it's going to be for a year or 2 years, whatever, obviously. But then, hopefully you stay on that and say, hey, we'll come out every 6 months or every year, whatever. And we come out, we'll do an inspection on your equipment. It's funny to me to think that at my old place, I used to pay $90, right? And they get you for a water softener, right, system. And I remember, they never came out and checked the equipment. And that's what kind of turned me off because the equipment would have failures and you'd call them and they'd come out and stuff like that. But I thought, it'd be a little bit nicer that I'm paying this. And even if I had to pay a little bit more, maybe, $100, $110, and they'd come out every 3 months at least and check the equipment out and test the water and make sure everything is working properly. I'd appreciate that service, and I'm willing to pay more for it. Not extreme a lot more, but I'm more for it. Instead of every time me have to questioning going, is this thing something wrong with this? Like I had to diagnose stuff myself versus, yes, I could have called them, but it's always an inconvenience. You got to make the appointment. You got to make sure you got stuff there. They can get in, somebody's home, blah, blah, blah. But just think about it. There is people, and like I said, you find those people, and I'm one of them. There's people out there that are willing to pay. My guy says a good idea. Tony's guy says my guy does pallets. He gets an extra $900 a week. That's crazy, dude. You gotta tell me some more about that, Mr. Tony. You gotta text me on that or something because I see some people do that, and I don't understand how that even works. Like, what do you do with the pallets? You take them back to the pallet company? Like, how do you get the money? I just make new wall decals 4x4 inches. This is with last date of service and next date. Ooh, kind of like an oil change. Sean's guy says lots of operators we use now have service settings to make it flash courtesy lights after a year. Rusty's got thinking about scheduling people a year in advance is bold. Chip repair. Doors don't need service after a year, maybe 3 years. Yeah, I don't know how, like I said, I think I would agree, like garage doors typically, that's why I'm always with new installs, you can get away with them. But I still think because, at least for me anyways, this is just my preference here, my personal opinion, but you never know, I'm probably the only one, but there's been days where I'm rushed, right? There's been days where I've done installs and it's like, woo, man, I got a baby going to be delivered or something. And I got to be home tonight, or there's dinner or something, or I got this going on. And I might have not taken as much time as I could, but if I had it on a year contract or I was going back, I'd be like, oh yeah, when I get there. Cause I never know the place until I turn on the road. Until I turn on the road and I'm like, in my car, truck, SUV, whatever it is, service vehicle. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember this place. Yeah, I remember. They had a really nice dog or something, And then I'm like, oh, that's right. I remember that corner was tough in that one, and if you could go back and maybe massage something or spray something or maybe make a little adjustment, just get eyes on it. Maybe the door is, found a way. It's something you didn't tighten down, maybe a set screw, and the door has shifted a little bit. I just think there's so many benefits to the customer, and yourself. Like I said, you're getting where you can use this as flexibility for a slow week, right? A slow week. Hey, hey, we could bump them up a month, and I think I would do something with like a 3 month, 3 months before, 3 months after. Give yourself a grace period. That's how I'd look at it. Rusty, you just have to call a weekend to make sure it's still on. Yes, Shane, I ripped those off when installing LiftMaster. Tanner says, we have that on our factory commercial jobs. We go back to those, to some every 6 months and a year. I might be a little confused on what these stickers are. If anybody's got a picture of what their stickers are, like Tanner or whatever you're doing, I'm a little bit like, is this on a sticker and you're putting a date on here? Or is it like, because like we got our stickers, that's for like when we installed it, but nothing for going back or. And I think with like, it'd be cool, like if you could ever send me like a little video or pictures of on like your Google, like how you're like, and I won't, if you send it to me, I won't share it with the customer's information, but if I could see it, I'd like to see it. Maybe I could I could mock one up. Cause I know you can do a lot of stuff with Google. I haven't messed with it in quite a while. But that's not a bad idea. Do something with Google. That way it's kind of separate from your CRM, depending on, I know like, I think Jobber has certain things, but I'm not real familiar with it for that kind of situation. Go back. We have factory commercial jobs. Rusty says, don't want to spend my day driving around oiling doors. Don't want to spend your day oiling doors if it makes the money. Richard says, many reasons why bottom seals shrink. Exterior wall strip issues. Maybe you can sell exterior hardware, handles, and strips. Oh, straps, let's say. Tony says, I think if you did the maintenance program, eventually you'd have enough to keep a guy busy just on maintenance. Oh, hell yes. Absolutely. I have no doubt. No doubt. And it's good filler. You know what I mean? It's revenue. It's cash flow. And the thing is like, I don't know where I've seen it, but now you have a system, right? You have a system that's building revenue versus just, because a lot of times in the garage door business, if you ever wanted to step out or sell the business, or you're selling based on whoever runs it, right? That's it. They like you, right? But if you have a system where this is like, it's just an automatic system that they're like, you can show, hey, I got all this maintenance program right here that all these customers, like 75% of them we're gonna call, and they this one's done it for 3 years. They're gonna take this. It could be a great thing. And the thing I mean, at least correct me if I'm wrong, the thing I think about in the back of my head is I go, it's another reason now you don't have to spend all this money into witchcraft, which is trying to advertise. Oh, I got to spend this much in advertising. I got to spend this much in, well, I don't know about you guys. I still to this day, anytime I advertise, I'm always like, yoo-hoo, did it work? Did it work? Did you check that phone rang? Did you make sure you asked? Well, I forgot in this one. I'll do the next one. God dang it. You need to make sure you hound that customer. I need to know every one that comes in, where they are getting these leads, so we can spend more money in that direction. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just me being goofy. Sean says, we've been offering LiftMasters by a company. He says they're too cheap. He says, if you know what I mean. Oh. Must be bad. Says like, yeah. He says, me. This message helps for you. Rusty says, Rusty guy says, I don't want to be known as the maintenance guy. I want to be known as the guy you call. There's a problem. He says there's a bunch of companies that will charge, what is that, them $125 to spray WD-40. Nice. Tanner's guy says, we get some people who ask about that all the time, and we just tell them to call, but the sticker is a good idea. But I do see Rusty's point, but Tony, you're not wrong. Get some guy to run around and did it jump? Did it jump? I don't know. Huge for service work, guys, strict to service. And usually get at least one door a week out of it. I think it just kind of depends. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like I said. I think what it comes down to is there's just so many different levels. You know, when I think of it, for me, I look at it and I go, "Damn!" I go, if you're in a certain demographic, right, to be 5 Mile famous and to do that, and it's not this like residential for us. It's like the firemen, right? They call, oh my gosh, we got a broken spring. Can you come here right now? And you're like I got another fudge. Yeah, I guess. Okay, because if you can't, I gotta call some other place. Yeah, I'll be there. You know, and then you wonder why you're working late nights. Where when I think of the service part of it, like for me, I go, that's nice, you know, to do some maintenance, because that's all controlled. It's nothing, and it's kind of like when we did the commercial. A lot of our commercial customers, we used to, always 5 o'clock on a Friday, just bam, 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 man. We just get nailed. Hammered, it seemed like. And ever since we did preventative maintenance with those customers, that all gone away, and it's at our leisure, right? And we still have those customers, and they still occasionally have a rapid fire something, a cable broke that we didn't catch, or they smashed into a door, but not near like it used to be. And you can send the guys there on rainy days. You have so many more flexibility and weather conditions. Maybe we're supposed to be doing a fence or a gate. The weather is going to be crap that whole week. Send them on preventative maintenance. You got flexibility, and it's basically paying for their incomes. You know what I mean? You're paying payroll, you know what I mean, with it. So that's kind of nice. Tony, you're not wrong. Get some guy. Treat it as if it was your door. Sean's got. Which says, I made $140K last year in annual lube and roller upgrades and bottom seals. Don't overlook upselling your original customers. Dang, that's a good chunk of money right there. Nice. Yeah, Richard, if you get a chance, like I said, if you got anything, you could like send me, email me, text me. I'm assuming you got my number. If whatever is easier, but whatever you kind of do on that, I'd be interested, because that's dude, I'm telling you, that's some powerful stuff right there. Getting back with your existing customers. I really believe if you want to control your day instead of having your day control you, I think that's a great service. You know what I mean? And to me, that's like customers that are willing to pay the higher numbers too. You know what I mean? They understand the value of service, preventative maintenance. Like I said, somebody could charge me $65, probably $120 a pop easily, just to go around and check some filters in rentals, and just walk around with a little shop vac, portable vacuum, suck them out, just take a look at them, make sure nothing's leaking, nothing's running stains, nothing looks crazy, just to give me an update, you know what I mean? Or say, hey, we got a problem, you know what I mean? You're stealing a Precision's market. Does Precision do a lot of preventative maintenance? I didn't know they did that. If that's the case. Tanner's guy says that we are huge for service work. He says, I have one guy who is strictly service work, and he is great at it. He says, I usually get at least one door. Oh, yes. Order a week out of it. Yeah, and when you think about it too, even if, like I said, I kind of talking about like that 5 Mile Famous. If you're like more local in a central area and you're doing these preventative maintenance programs, you think about it too. Neighbors, gas stations, all these places now, they're always working, they're seeing the trucks around, they're building that reputation of, wow, this is, this company, I see them everywhere, you know what I mean? And that's good for business, What door? Yeah. Has anyone used roller stem sleeves? Make the door quieter. I haven't seen nothing. All I seen was recently a top panel that flips out on some advertising. I don't know how that roller it bent right out. It just popped right out. I was like, is that thing spring loaded or something? They didn't show it very good on the. It was like something through Facebook, and you can make your top panel stick in a little bit so it can let ventilation in. I was like, is that a good idea or is that a bad idea? I couldn't tell. Sean, you're thinking LiftMaster is cheaper than Horman? Yeah, he says must have different product quality in the UK. Yeah, I would agree. Dave, it would arrive late. Tanner says, I'm really excited for this EPA stuff. Oh, here we go, Tanner. I know I've been hearing about it. Every time I hear about EPA now, that's all I think about is Tanner and diesel trucks. I think I heard something about, I thought Dodge was coming out with a V8 or something now, or I don't know, with their trucks or something. I don't know if they're getting away or whatever. Mission's going away and no more DEF, dude. That'd be, I don't know. I might try to, that's crazy, dude. I can't wait to order new Duramax fully deleted from factory. That would be amazing. I have a hard time believing that will happen, but I hope it does. And I'll be chewing. I am not going to eat my shirt, but I'll be chewing on my shirt if that happens. In excitement, of course. WhatsApp, he says, chat to show your different perspectives. It seems like WhatsApp is always like a scam over here for some reason for us. I don't know why. Richard said, yes. He said, I'm on the Facebook Garage Door Tech Forum. He says, looks like Dave has the Wayne Dalton 9100 on his shop door. I believe that is 9000 series. It was a misorder. Don't judge me. It was a misorder. 22. We got 22 likes. Thank you guys so much for the likes. What do you know about rolling steel, fire shutter, and what are your tips? Oh, man. Well, most time you got to be certified and all that stuff to do it. It's a very long process. It can be done. Takes a lot longer. There's really nothing. You just got to go with what the manufacturer, the engineers print, however they want stuff set up to some degree. Sometimes you got to bend the rules a little bit with certain stuff. You gotta ask for forgiveness for certain inspectors and fire people. They're a different animal. I mean, there's money to be made. It's just it's not really what we strive for. It's very time consuming. You got to have big boys. I always say you got to have big boys. Big boys stuff, kind of doing that, because sometimes you got to weld stuff. You got to go through certain layers of drywall and anchors, and it just can be a lot of time. So you just got to have somebody that's a good craftsman that'll take the time and do it right. I'm off to bed. Later over here, he says, nice to see y'all. He says, lads, keep it up. All right. See you later, Sean. Have a good one. Thanks for being here. I'll check out the text when I get a chance. Jason, my tip is bid them so high you don't get them. Yeah, he says, how do you stay healthy installing? He says, heavy fire shutters. He says, oh, man. Yeah, the fire doors, man. They're a different animal. They are a different animal. Be nice to show pictures, by the way. Oh, yes. It says proper equipment, forklift, rated for the weight. That's true. Rolling steel and fire doors, different animal than sectional doors. Absolutely. They are. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard for guys to switch gears. You know what I mean? I've always been pretty good with it. I don't know if it's because like I'm a business owner and I get the mentality. But some guys can't do that. You know, some guys get into those situations and it's like they're right there on. You know, it's like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do, boss? What do you want me? It's like, dude, slow down. We got this. It's gonna take a little longer. We got to work like you're like union workers, all right? Yeah, we're gonna take our time on this. It's gonna be sweet because you know you get in those jobs, right? And you got a lot of safety. Sometimes you got a lot of safety people watching. You got to have all the protective PPE and all that, you know. And you gotta, you gotta be really safe. You gotta be really slow. You gotta be methodical. It's not like when you go into the residential and it's like you're like doing the ninja moves. You're like, hi, Fluffy. You're like, I gotta go, Fluffy. I gotta do the spring really quick because I got another one to do. And you just whip it up and you're out of there and you get away with it, right? Where there, you're up on a ladder, no harness. Come down here, penalty. You know, you might not be working here much longer. You can't be doing that. Strike one, you know. Use equipment and cradles for rolling steel doors that we do. Load and unload, move, rigging straps, curtain, cradle, drum, plates. Oh man, all kinds of stuff. See you later, Richard. Like I said, if you get a chance, let me know. Send me some stuff if you can. If you need, email me at the Daveadubson if you're still on here. I'd like to see some of that stuff. If you can just even take a little picture of something, it'd be pretty cool to see how you're kind of setting it up. Gotta go. Have a good night. I literally had to take a fire door one time. I had to like, it was a nightmare to get out. I forgot I had to go on an angle to get the barrel up there. So I had to rig a winch, electric winch, up from the ceiling down, and it saved our heinies big time. But talk about scary, you know, being in a scissor lift with you're like, you know, you got this huge door and it's like, you know, this rolling steel, and it's like, man, if this thing goes, just I guess all you can do is just duck down and hope the cage holds the weight and doesn't crush you. Whew, that was a scary one. Lift up the curtain and you can release the shaft, curtain into drums, pull down, roll steel, a day off for us. Rolling steel area. Says, Tanner, what do you mean put a cone on the shaft? Tanner, how much profit will you make on a job like that? As Gen C says, I'm back. What'd you do? Eat dinner? Eat dinner with us? What'd you have? These things are blowing my elbows. Oof, man. One thing I've learned about being a landlord, he says, you're only one that cares about your investment. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Oh. Who are you? Morgan says, so Jesse, who are you? Hello, it says, Rusty, why don't you like the rolling steel? Tanner says, Rusty, I'm sorry, man. He says, leave that office stuff to my wife. And office manager says, I get in the truck and install every day or hire and fire. I just like installing, but I do know, he says, we make a killing on it. Yeah, I get it. It's kind of like me. I don't really, you know, they call me when they go, I got a problem. Can you come help me? I'm stuck. And, I'll do the same if I'm in a certain situation, but the rest of it, they handle, they do better at it. It's like me answering the phone. I'm not good at answering the phone. You don't want me answering the phone. It's not that I can't sell. It's just the stuff behind the scenes where it's like, you know, you got to get the address and the numbers and that stuff can kind of, you know, I can do it, but I like it to be recorded. So that way I can go back and listen again if I'm like, did they say it was Harold or barreled? I'm looking it up on Google. It's not showing up. You know. Rolling steel because it's a different game. He says equipment long down the road. He says spring brackets needs new curtain slats. It's a bear, so we make it worth it. Jason, he says, I don't believe I can make as much doing those, taking out my whole day as could do service or residential installs. Yeah, it's hard to say. Tanner, we normally hang opener, use hoist to lift curtain. Jog opener if there is power. So what's it say? Ooh, Tony's got. They sell the A and B pallets. I might have to. Might be somebody out there. Might have to do a little YouTube looking. See what somebody does out there for that kind of stuff. That always stuff's just kind of. It's just something you think about, right? Like nobody thinks about a pallet. There's like, whatever, I'm burning this thing, throw this in the dumpster, But there's somebody out there making that's somebody's paycheck, man. That stuff's just cool. Yes, yeah. Tony was mentioned somebody works for him that does a pallet stuff on the side, and I know there's a guy. I've seen him run around. I used to think he was the guy who used to cut my grass. I always be like, is that the guy who cuts our grass? Used to cut our grass, and but he always have a trailer full. And actually, there was another guy that I bought some bins from one time, and he did something like that. I didn't know the whole story, but I didn't know where they're located around here. I think I know where a couple are. But you think about it, I mean, if there's a company that builds them, like we have some around here, they get some back. They'll, hey, it saves them that material and labor, and they can make a few bucks reselling them and all that. Yep, done that, Kevin. It's faster, I think. Throw on a cone. He says, job. We don't have power 90% of the time. Rolling steel at cops. He says here, or the cops says for free and grain. Elevators. Tanner, what's a cone? Like a traffic cone? No, like the cone that goes in then. Probably wind it. The end of spring, Jason. Yeah, he says the winding cone. A sprung cone sectional door. Take one cone, broken spring. You can set screws, wind it. He says roll curtain up. Drop it in the track. Slits. So you put the cone on the shaft, makes it easier to roll up. Tanner says, come back to set limits again. He says, now you're set up to put the comps. He says, we have installed dust, waterproof openers, feed dust. Oh, direct. Dave, you get a message when it's a Google lead, I think, to shrink my area because I'm getting calls from an hour away. Oof, man. Yeah, I don't get any. Do you get a message? It's a Google lead. I don't. I don't know exactly what gets where. I just know I'm constantly I'm always trying to I'm telling Cap, I'm like, dude, that customer, I'd let that one go. I mean, there's certain ones, there's some that just fell off naturally. And then there's some that he will, he still does. And then he tells me the numbers and I'm like, yeah, I can't blame you. I'm like, that's still a good one, but I'm like, anytime I would say I would throw them to the wind. There's just, I cannot believe out of the years, I just think about, and I just go, all the issues that you run into. Because I honestly think it was a personal thing for me. It was almost for one, I didn't want to say no. For two, it was like, even if I charged for it, and they were like, yes, but it builds that time. Like you get out there and they're like, all it takes is like two maintenance guys to miss paths. And you get there and you're like, you show up an hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours, whatever, because your schedule, and they're like, oh, we already got it fixed. And you're like, and another maintenance guy didn't communicate to that maintenance guy or whatever. And all it takes is, I've had customers. That's why you got to always call them when you're on your way. I mean, you got to sit there and babysit them because that more time you leave in there, I've had it before where it's like, I already talked to them. Everything was good. I was the one that handled the call. You go out there and it's like, there's nobody home. You're banging on it. It's like, what in the heck is going on? You finally get a hold of somebody as you're already driving back to the shop. And they're like, oh, we already had, there was a guy came out within 10 minutes of us calling. And you're like, well, that would have been nice to know, Tanner's guy says, oh, this is mean. You can use 2 pipe wrenches, but it's a better way to, he says, don't mar up the shaft, the cone. 2 pipe wrenches, how Dad's showing me. Now, Jason, my tracks mounted, drums, plates are mounted. The curtain is cradled lift with a forklift. Tell her we're gonna just roll the curtain out, cradle right under. The drum is the best, so well, buddy, build us a cradle. It's kind of different because the way we do curtains is we'll roll them out on the ground. So like I'll bring moving blankets or something depending on where we're at, and we roll it out. We put the actual barrel and the spring assembly all together on the ground, and we roll it back up. And then we lift the whole assembly, and then we put our plates. Normally our plates are just dangling, and then when we get up there, the forklifts, whatever, we'll just attach our plates, get the curtain in there, maybe put a little bit of a turn, on the spring, and then boom, it goes down and it's pretty much wound, How big is a door if you need a forklift? Kevin said at 18 by 15 last week. Yeah, those things get super heavy. Rolling steel is a I don't even know what I used. Oh, I think I had my old forklift for the one out here. That's what, a 10 by 10? I think it's a 10 by 10. We sure as hell weren't going to lift it on our shoulder as far as I know. If it was, I don't think we did. I'm pretty sure we had a forklift here. It's like an 8 by 8. It says Morgan, 8 by 8. He's the smallest I have ever done. Actually, no, he said I did 16. Okay, 10, 16 by 8s. And Jan. What's up, Mr. Freeze? It's good to see you. I hope we're doing good. Oh yeah, he says we are doing like 14, 20 by 8s. Yeah, he says, roll king steels. Yeah, that's some big stuff, man. That's some big stuff. Started to warm up. Oh, I know, man. Finally, we're starting to. Now it's tomorrow. I think tomorrow, it's a big cool down though. It's highs of like in the 30s or something. Maybe an inch of snow. Come on. This morning kept waking me up. Yeah, I get that, man. I know the rain woke me up today. Last year because garage was under, house negative. Oh man, negative duct. Oof, man. Ooh man. Yeah, okay. Straps for the curtain. Dang. King rolling steel autocorrect. Rolling steel. Oh, got it. It was a small rolling steel door. Ever done. Track wanted installed. Rolling. Only option. What's Freeze guy here says, I've used pallet wood for repairing my workbench and my garage. Nice. Reuse that stuff, baby. That's awesome. I use pallets to build. It says duck house. Oh, the geese and duck house. This is an acreage a few years back. So clear plastic ribbon panels. That's kind of funny. Any issues of being all the issues of being a long distance loser, man. Oh man. I know the feeling, man. The long distance loser. I don't want to do it anymore. It's no fun. No fun, man. The variables. Tangent, but we found out kind of a pain. We usually had gravel, rocks. Yeah, I get that. So much of a gamble to dent. Doing it's Dave's way. Yeah, I get it. I just don't really understand. I really can't concept how you're dropping it. How do you even spin it? But like you said, unless you got
Cause I'm kind of thinking how they send them to us. Like, how in the hell do you spin that damn thing? So, like, are you putting it like on top of the, like, you're putting up your, or is it basically you're dropping the curtain in the track, then you're putting up your assembly with the springs, and then you're attaching it? Because, like, I swear I did one before. Maybe not so much. Like, I feel like I remember one point we like lost the curtain, and we were just having a hell of a time. And it wasn't even that super big of a door. We were like trying to like hook ratchet straps to it, trying to pull it back over the barrel or get it up to the barrel to put the bolts and stuff. I think we did it like the way the instructions said, and I was like, the hell with this. I said, I ain't doing this ever again. I'll buy me a whole bunch of moving blankets, and then you got to watch it, because obviously, like when we did, so how did I do it with the mall job? That was a 30-foot wide door by roughly 12 foot, I think it was. And we used the wood crate it came in, which bit me. I didn't reinforce it. And anyways, we cut out the ends or did something so it make it like a cradle. And as we lifted it up, I remember that something. Oh, we used the top. That's what it was, the top. And the top crushed, and it came down a little bit, man. And we messed up a few of the. That one was a rolling or what do they call it? It's a security gate, whatever you call it. I can't think of the name. Shutter door or something, rolling shutter. And yeah, that wasn't fun. But I remember otherwise it's always been a pain for us to get the tabs lined up or whatever on some of the ones we've done. But I get it. The dirt and stuff like that, that's kind of it's like a big slinky when it doesn't have the barrel in it. I'm headed to bed. That's all right. I'm out of here probably shortly too. Thanks for being here, Jason. Headed to bed. Thanks, Dave, for taking the time to do this tonight. It's really helpful to be able to pick everyone's brain. Yes, it is. This is great, isn't it? I love having everybody here. I really appreciate everyone being here too. And we got 25 likes. That's great. So thank you guys too. I learned a lot, and I hope you're learning a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Hanging by slings. He says, I've seen a cradle, 2 trailer tires. 2 trailer tires. Okay. And the curtains spin on that. Okay. Okay. That's not bad. That's interesting. Freeze says, I'm going to bed. He said, I need sleep. Well, have a good night. Thanks for stopping in, Freeze. So, I mean, I'm trying to think like, I'm still thinking about how you're dropping that curtain in. God, that thing is such a slinky when you get to the top. Like just letting that thing coil up in there. Then what are you doing? You're pushing that. How do you push the curtain? You push the curtain out of the way, and then you got to get your assembly up there. Or is it the assembly's up there? You're letting it slide on the backside of that curtain or that assembly, right? The spring assembly, the I can't think of what it's called, but the tube. And then as you get close, there's no really getting close. It's like you get to that last part, and it's like woof. It's a big old woof, man. Where he says, besides being here, he says, how can I contribute to the community? He says, I have thought about starting my own YouTube channel. Should, man. Do it up. You can always, too, if you come across something, you got questions, you can always email me. I typically will share as long as you let me, if somebody tells me, obviously, hey, man, this is personal, please don't share this, then I don't. And then I always try to make sure I block out any phone numbers or names or anything. I'll use maybe first names. But anything that's not sensitive, you can always send that to me, too. And like I said, I'll typically do stuff on that. I'll read it and put it in there and ask for the community for help, or I'll put in my 2 cents. And then things like that, but, or if you got pictures and you're like, hey, do you think there's a better way or something? I like doing that kind of stuff too. Sometimes it just depends. Sometimes, boom, I get right back to them. Sometimes it takes me a week. Sometimes it may take me 2. You just never know. I've been a little bit backed up lately, so it's been. I think there's an email that's about 3 days old right now. I got to get back, which will probably be probably tomorrow. I think I'll be able to sneak in the old email and start checking around some stuff. Tanner says, yeah. What it says? Cradles. Oh, it was wide half room metal. Oh, with carpet on them. Interesting. Huh. Well, if you ever come across it too and you get to do one, I know they don't, they sometimes how it is, they pop up and then they go away. If you ever do one, Tanner, like I said, take some pictures of that cradle. I mean, that'd be pretty cool to show if you don't mind. And I'd be interested too, you know what I mean? Because there could be a time where just there's no opportunity. The last one I remember I did was on a stage for a school. So the floor was nice and clean in that one. I still brung some, I think we left the padding down. When it rolls out, it had padding on it. But that one was tight. We didn't want to bring a forklift or anything in there. We really didn't have the room. And so I just remember I had to get electric crane or winch, which I had. And then I had to get power to it. So I had to make sure I get power. And we had to, you have to go up those catwalks on the side where the spotlights are and all that. And we had to anchor that thing. And man, it's a stress, because especially when you're dealing with people's lives, man, especially people you work with, employees or just anybody, you don't want nobody to get hurt. And you got this thing, and then it's like, there's a lot of times in business people don't see that you put yourself in the front line. You know what I mean? So like, there was a point where I was like, I'm going to do this because I got to make this and hopefully I can catch it, which I probably won't. I got to get down in this lift and hope that this cage doesn't collapse. You know how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you got to do some kind of stuff that's a little on the sketchy side. Just how it goes sometimes. I still remember, I think the last one was the one I did. I remember this was years ago. I'll leave you with this for the night. I still remember we had 3 guys. I think I was the 4th guy showing up. They didn't want to get this post pounded in. And we had our tallest ladder out there, and it was 12, 14 foot. The poles, we're trying to sink it in like this swamp area, but it used to be like a landfill, and it's a high voltage place, and I remember I got the jackhammer. I didn't know about those hammers that they got now, the new modern ones for doing fence posts and stuff. And anyways, the guys are all out there. I had my biggest guy out there, right? And I'm not climbing up there, man, blah, 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 and I'm like, you just ever get that irritation where you're like, fudge this, like, just give it to me. So I put that thing over my shoulder. I go climb up, a big old jackhammer with this adapter on it. And before I climb up it, though, I get the phone call, right? I'll never forget, one of those life-changing moments. I get a phone call from my wife. She's like, hey, sweetie, how do you, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, and it's like one of those moments that you should be super happy. And deep down I was, but I was in that fight mode. It's like being like at war right now and bullets are flying, and you're shooting back, and you're like, I'm a little busy right now. I don't even know what to think of that right now. I'm really trying to get this guy, he's trying to kill me. And I remember I'm just like sitting there, I'm like, this is no time for a joke. Like, are you joking with me? I don't know if this is like April Fool's or what's, and she's like, no, she's like, we weren't really like, it wasn't like trying, it wasn't like a super planned or anything, it could happen, right? And I remember I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to go up there on top of this ladder by these, right next to the power plant on these super high voltage lines. And for some reason, that thing is going to down to me, and I'm going to be, poor kid's never going to meet their father. And luckily it didn't happen, but there's some weird things that happen to you when you're a business owner, right? We know, right? Oh, that's right. Like Tanner, he says, Sketchy used to be my middle name. That's right. You know, I try to avoid that nowadays. I try to use reason, and sometimes you still get caught in certain things that just have to be done. Unfortunately, you know. Yeah. So, anywho, I think I'm gonna get out of here. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for the likes. Thanks, Tanner, for all the comments and information. That's been great. Thanks for everybody else, you know, Kevin and Papa Tony and Rich B and all that for hanging out. Like I said, if you guys got anything, you're more than welcome to shoot me a text. I always like that. That's quick and easy, and I can always see it, and I try to reply back. If I missed anybody, don't be afraid to say, hey, man, did you see something? Did you miss something? Because there is those times when I'm walking or I'm doing something, and I do scan at something, and I go, oh, yeah. You know, and then it's like, I lose it. You know what I mean? That's how life is. Sometimes you got a kid or something that's grabbing your leg, or, you know, something that needs, the squeaky wheel needs oil first, right? She turned 1 yesterday? Was this party? Did she give you a kid or what? Oh, she turned 1. Oh. She turned 1. Goes by fast, man. That's why it all starts changing as you get older. You know, you don't want to, you wonder why the people as they get older, they don't want to do so much of the, you know, maybe so much of the traveling or something like that, right? Because it's just wisdom. That's how I like to think of it. It's wisdom. You get smarter. You know, I've done a lot of young and dumb things. When I was younger, I just green, didn't know, didn't have nobody to talk to. Son of a gun, you know. There you go. It says, older I get, less sketchy I'm willing to do. Yeah, I think it's kind of like you just get wiser. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it, because I think we all do it. You know what I mean? When we're young, you think you're invincible and you don't ever think about time. But, you know, like I said, it really struck me hard because I just, for whatever reason, thought 50 was when you're over the hump. I know, I'm weird like that. And my wife's like, yeah, you know, something, you're over the hump. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, 50 is. And she's like, no. And it's like when you sit there and you start thinking about it and you're going, holy crap. And then when you got family, friends, and social media and stuff like that, and you see people peeling off and you're going, whoa, man, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, the odds are already stacked against me. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I really need to do that, you know, because it's, what do they say, right? What's that country song, right? Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Oh, man. After my time is service, I says I don't do sketch anymore. This is maybe a little bit, but not a lot. I get it. It hurts more. There you go. Oh, he go. He says, oh, he says, man, I love these big doors, man. Oh, man. Tanner does the big ones, man. That is for sure. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much. My phone's almost ready to die, so I gotta split. Make sure you keep your fingers. Stay safe out there. If you guys got anything, email me, text me, all that good stuff. Otherwise, till the next time, we'll see you. Keep up the good work.